Radiant team ban. Radiant team ban.
Alright folks, welcome back to the RedBull ECL 2013, this league featuring a wide variety of Chinese teams from the very tip top of the field to some of the new contenders, new teams, pub stacks, and also one non-Chinese team in the form of Orange. They're sort of a token non-Chinese team and what is otherwise a purely Chinese team dominated tournament. We're playing in the group stage. This is Group D, the final of the four groups. Two teams will advance from this group of 6 into the offline finals to be played July 12th through 14th in Shanghai. It will be broadcasted by Beyond the Summit from their studios in California. Here from the Not Beyond the Summit studios in Not California, I am Vikrman, bringing to you the second game between wHut and OguraYui, joined by my co-caster El Presidente. How are you doing, my friend?
You might not be from California, but I am.
I know. I was saying that and I was like, well, actually.
So half of us
Yes,
are
half
from
of us.
California. But we are both not at the Beyond the Summit studios. That is true.
That is true. Can you cover the draft? I've got an alarm going in the background, so I'm going to go fix that.
Alright, so going into this draft, we're going to see the Batrider Nyx bands coming out of OguraYui, as well as the Lifestealer Clockwork bands coming out of wHut. Ogura do go for the Alchemist as their first pick, very shocking first pick, as well as the Darkseer, and wHut, wow, goes for the Visage and the Slark. The Visage and okay, they went for the Slark, and I have no idea what's going on anymore. Slark is generally not a first-tier pick. You really only pick the counter-specific heroes, so I guess wHut is really confident in their ability to play the Slark. We did see that wHut banned the Slark in the previous match, so this is a very interesting pickup for them. Visage as well. Didn't get to see it play in the last set. Now, Visage is a really strong tri-landing hero, especially against other tri-lands. That is where his specialty lies. That's mostly because the more damage that's happening on both sides, the more damage Visage puts out via that soul assumption. So it's very, very, very powerful in tri-v-tri situations. Sort of like how Undying just scales better as more heroes are in the lane. So, oh, and he's back.
I am. Hi. Yeah, Undying, Visage definitely currently the premier tri vs tri hero of choice. And the other thing is that last game we had the second phase Slark ban, and I think you noted that, El Prez. And here we actually have a first phase Slark pick, and Slark is allegedly becoming absolutely huge. Ever since that comment from Chuan like months ago saying that Slark was going to be the next thing, he's quietly become more and more popular. We saw him in the Western qualifiers a little bit, even in a little bit in the Eastern qualifiers in G1. And the rumor, the scuttlebutt is he is the most picked hero in houses in China these days.
Well, the only reason why I find that to be shocking, at least on a competitive level, is because Chinese teams, if they're known for anything besides, being legendary ricers back like a year and a half ago, is buying 8-minute gems.
Sure. And that last game we had, 3 gems circulating at some point?
Exactly, and there's nothing that hurts Slark more than an 8-minute gem.
Sure. That's absolutely true.
And it basically completely shafts his ability to really be that impressive fishman that he desperately wishes to be.
That's a good point. I mean, Ogura had great ward coverage for a lot of that last game, and a lot of sentries were placed in addition to the gems, and if Slark is just running around everywhere super slow because he's just getting warded out constantly, he's not able to do that snowballing role, that role of just getting bigger and bigger and scarier that he really wants.
Yeah, although, there are some really cheeky Slark builds that you can kind of use to get around some wards, I guess. Things like Shadow Blade Slarks are always very cheeky and hilarious. Spectre Band. My god, it's like Dota completely changed over the last 3 months.
Yeah, I mean, things have really opened up. The funny thing is, the same heroes are still really good. It's just that everything else is also now really good. So it's a weird situation, of course. Spectre can be surprisingly effective in tri-lanes with Visage, but Here we go. The IO comes out, and Ogura weren't really planning for this at all. None of their bans are geared towards it. And so we could see something like a Chaos Knight here, or even a Tiny or something.
I don't remember. What is that one team that loves picking up the Wisp? It's usually Zenith, isn't it?
No. VG picked IO a lot for a Chinese team.
I thought, like,
Does pick IO? Rising Stars, I think, is who you're thinking of, though. They pick IO just about every game,
yeah.
even when there's no pair for it.
Rising Stars does. Zenith is the team that picked Bristleback one time just for the funnies.
They did pick Bristle. They did support Timbersaw, too. I love Zenith. I'm a big fan of that team.
They do some really interesting drafts, and they make it work. So that's like the most impressive part. Man, that's dangerous. That tri-lane is going to be very dangerous for Ogura to deal with.
Yeah.
Oh, I just noticed someone forgot to click the ticker. Someone forgot to mark that wHut is coming in with one game here.
Oh, yeah, welcome to ECL. I'm not 100% sure that they know how the ticker works, FYI.
Well, they know how to set it. You'd think they know how to...
They know how to set it, but that just says best of 3. I don't think they know that you can click the pips themselves to set an advantage.
Oh,
I want to talk to them about it, but,
better.
like, yeah, my Chinese is very bad. Their English is actually perfectly fine. I'm just too lazy to fix it. Their English is far better than my Mandarin.
Well, it's probably much better than mine. I even took a year of Chinese. Holy... like, it's awful.
That's half a year more than I took.
But I have no idea how Ogura are planning on fighting this tri-lane. They don't have anything. Like,
Yeah.
they have no way of stopping this from wrecking them. They don't have the Shadow Demon to disarm them. They don't have, like, They could go for Bane, but that's, like, at most a limited stop. And by the time they get the Bane off, there's enough damage on Visage to already get off a Soul Assumption.
Yeah. And then just go for Jakiro. I don't mind this. I think it's still pretty good. My concern is just solely based around if wHut just put this tri-lane right up in the face of the Rubik Jakiro Alchemist. Maybe if they stun out the IO, if they can really misposition the IO and bring its levels down and just kill it constantly, then I think they can seize the advantage. Otherwise, I think this is a terrifying lane for Ogura, the 3v3 matchup. The Chaos Knight leads with something like Reality Rift on any of your heroes. I don't see how that hero survives. It's just going to be too much damage when you factor in spirits and soul assumption, and it could just be a very, very effective aggressive try if that's what wHut want to go for.
Yeah, and what it leaves them is then they just have to pick one solid offlaner, or they could put Slark in the offlane. That's another possibility. So, what?
Alright. Yeah, why not? Try to go for the 3v3, then maybe Jungle Doom, or even... can he fight Darkseer? I feel like it's not a great matchup, so
No,
he's going to want to
it's-
dodge the Darkseer matchup and maybe just jungle.
Yeah, it's not a matchup he wants to be dealing with. That said, I think Doom is a little bit more suited to dealing with Queen of Pain in the mid lane. You don't want to be using Dark Pact just to dispel things like Dagger. But Slark doesn't really want to land against Darkseer either. Too many options. How do they do this?
I still think it's maybe Doom in the jungle, Slark mid, and then just Visage, IO, Chaos Knight, try to go for that 3 vs 3, and then for Ogura it's a little more obvious, Queen of Pain mid, Darkseer off, and then the try, or try to dodge the 3v3 and just send the try aggressive against the 0, and then maybe try to launch incursions into the jungle, prey on Doom, who, as a jungler, he gets to very low health states, so Jakiro and Rubik can take massive advantage of that. I don't know. At any rate, let's introduce the teams. wHut? Don't pay attention to the pips, folks. They haven't set them. We will have this team up 1-0, trying to close this out 2-0 if they can, and get one step closer to actually being the second to advance out of the group into the LAN finals. I still have the band pick over Leon.
Man, I wish I had fancy overlays when I casted.
Well, I had to make this. I had to jerry-rig this one out of an old BTS overlay, and just because they didn't actually have one ready.
Hey, it's better than what I got. I just use a default overlay and
Just use fancy custom UIs, dude. Buy like Tempest Wing or something.
I have the international one. I just use that.
All right, yeah, the international one's pretty baroque.
It's
I like
pretty.
It is. It's good for like viewing, but not that great for playing because it's so busy. At any rate, wHut? They want to take this out. ZZZ. He was the star of the show as Weaver last game. Here we'll see what he can bring as the Doombringer. I mean, Doombringer against Queen of Pain, that Doom can completely ruin her day, her week, her month, her match. 365 will be on the support Visage. He will be joined by 290 on the Io, who actually was on the Alchemist last game. And finally, 123 on the Chaos Knight to fill out what looks like a defensive tri-lane from them. And then that just leaves Slark. YZB, still I would say most likely mid, although now I'm not even that sure.
For OguraYui, we're going to see YSY taking that off-lane Darkseer for a second time. Sex Bingo is going to be on the Queen of Pain taking that mid role, and for that tri-lane, it's going to be DreamyU taking that one role Alchemist, Will taking that Rubik, and Shana taking that Shakiro. And man, it's like this one set for Alchemist makes him look like Bane.
Yeah, I love the Alchemist gas mask. I also really love these wings on the Queen of Pain. I mean, he is wearing 2 elements of the Premier League set, so that's a pretty cool set, but I like these wings way more. Those are badass wings. The Ruby
It's sad
Web.
because he actually hasn't watched any of the Premier League games.
Well,
he just has the set.
They're at like 4 a.m. his time. Cut him some slack.
But you can just like load up the VODs, and that adds to it.
Fair enough. Alright, so we have a quick pause. What is actually going on? It looks like everybody's ready, so we will be going in just a second. Yeah, we're going. Alright. So, Elprez, do you think Game 1 teaches us any lessons for this, or is it pretty much anybody's game?
What Game 1 tells me is that what is phenomenal from playing from behind. Like, that was ridiculous.
Yeah. So even if Ogura get off to a good early start, which isn't going to be the easiest thing in the world against this lineup, they can't count wHut out. They really have to have good follow-through. We were discussing in Twitch chat after the last game what sort of went wrong for Ogura, and it was just lack of really great follow-up, including YSY, even after the blink that he got on Darkseer pretty quickly. He really wasn't able to generate that many strong vacuum wall opportunities. A couple times it was pulled off, but not enough to really tip the scales. And here, I think they have a good, solid lineup. DreamyU will be able to snowball as this Alchemist, hopefully. I mean, especially with no opposition in the lane, I certainly expect this Alchemist to get better early farm than 290 had in the last game.
Okay, so ZZZ is jungling. This is still a defensive tri-lane for some reason, and we are seeing a mid-Slark. Okay, everything has been figured out.
Right.
Oh, and YSY, I thought he spotted it and was just going to head to the jungle. Yeah, he's just running off to the jungle now.
Yeah. He's
Oh.
getting that. Ooh,
What is he doing?
I don't know.
Are you just gonna run into ZZZ?
Well, he's got
I
haste
don't think
rune.
it's gonna... Yeah, but I don't think that's gonna end well for him anyways. He's already taking like a substantial amount of damage just
He can
sitting
block. He's blocking. I like this actually.
there. Well, except blocking against Doom is really silly because he just goes to the large camp
Oh,
anyways.
YZB actually, Slark getting very aggressive early, pressuring Zex Bingo, but in turn being pressured back by Jakiro. So no kills for either of them here. Zex Bingo actually already using his healing salve. I think Slark hangs on to his for now. And the Queen of Pain's gonna have to be careful in this lane. Slark is a dangerous enemy. In a vacuum, she's able to last hit much better, but Slark always has that potential of just getting very aggressive and killing her outright.
Yeah, I completely agree. Although for Stark to really make that happen, he needs to grab a level 2 Essence Shift and then a level... Well, okay, I guess a level 4 Essence Shift now and a level... Oh, Pounce.
There's the Pounce again, but YZB doesn't quite have the damage yet. I mean, he only just has the 1 Dark Pact and the 1 Pounce. He's probably going to need a second rank of Pounce to actually try to make this kill happen in this lane.
Yeah,
And-
he needs the second rate of Pounce and he also needs the Essence Shift. Otherwise, he's just
Right.
not going to do enough damage.
Essence Shift will be a big deal, I agree. Maybe just one, obviously just 1 rank in it, but even so. YSY, meanwhile, has headed off towards the jungle. Darkseer clearing out this easy camp here, and that's probably a smart choice. I don't know that solo lane would have been very fun for him. Sure, he's got the Surge, but he can just get locked down and killed before it even activates.
Yeah, and even if he does activate it, he can still get Reality Rifted and stunned anyways.
Right, in response
it's-
to it, yeah.
Yeah, it's like you don't really run from that. You kind of... There's a reason why it's even run against Queen of Pain. There's no running from it. You
like
get
heaven.
caught in it. Yeah, you can't run from the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
6 with Mantis Style.
Yeah, but what was the last... 6 doesn't sound as impressive as
It doesn't, it
4.
doesn't. It really doesn't.
It's just like, 8 compared to 10.
So DreamyU, he's got his 2 ranks of... She's got her 2 ranks of Grievel's Greed already, so... Developing pretty well in this Alchemist so far. Do you think this is a situation where wHut are going to feel pressure to gank? Or is it more or less a matter of it's fine to let the Alchemist farm for now as long as we get the levels on Io?
Well, I think it's honestly fine to be quite honest for wHut to let them get this reform. Alchemist is a mid-game hero. And I know I get a lot of flack for saying Alchemist is a mid-game hero the same way I get a lot of flack for saying Anti-Mage is a mid-game hero, but their advantages isn't their scaling so much as their ability to farm. That said, not Uncivil Concoction, Chemical Rage is completely insane.
It's a great story,
But
too.
it
As they
is
say.
that 1.0 BAT. But
Right.
regardless, their greatest strength doesn't really come down to their actual scaling, it comes down to their farming speed. So Alchemist will actually hit... His advantage is that he is 6-slotted at like 30 minutes when other people are 6-slotted at 35, 40.
Right. And
Right.
and Chaos Knight is a carry who's really not able to flash farm that effectively unless he gets very, very good development all throughout the game. So it's really polar opposites as far as carry choices, as far as position 1 choices. The other thing I have to say, in the mid so far, Zex Bingo really taking the advantage, using that inherent, the ranged ability, the harass ability of the Queen of Pain to really take a dominant position here. 19 for 6 to the 7 for 2 of YZB, and YZB, I don't even know if he's their regular mid player because they're running a completely different role assignment that they did in the first game. Now, it's fine for a new team to do this. It's good to experiment. But he seems a little bit out of sorts for this Queen of Pain matchup. Not that Slark's favored for it, but I feel like he could be doing better.
Yeah, I do think he could be doing better. I feel like he could be a little bit more aggressive, actually. But it's gotten to the point where Queen of Pain probably has enough levels that, honestly, aggression's probably going to end up backfiring on YZB. But yeah, I think it comes down to the fact that there's going to be this timing window for wHut, where Chaos Knight is leveled, right? He has his levels,
Sure.
but Alchemist doesn't have his items.
Right. I completely agree. It's that 8-6, the 8 on Chaos Knight, the 6 on Io. Io actually taking quite a bit of tower damage already here, unfortunately. But they're pressuring the tower, and in fact, both teams pressuring a tower each. I think they both have about the same pushing potential, which is to say not very much. So it might take a while for these towers to actually drop. This one at about half, this one about half. And parallel uses of fortification as well. But I still think it'll just be a pretty simple tier 1 for tier 1 tower trade in the end here.
Yeah, they both have, I think, about equal tower pushing, although, I don't know, I'm trying to see where everyone gets the edge. Ogura do have the Liquid Fire, which is very good against towers.
Sure.
But then wHut can just pop Chaos Knight's 4 Horsemen and do that instead. Phantasm.
Eventually, of course.
But
yeah.
Then you get Doom Auras, which are always really useful.
Doom is the big wild card in this game to me, frankly. Anything could happen with this Doombringer. He could be completely useless. He could farm up a trillion different items and just being an incredibly powerful force. Just with the auras that he can build, he can go Kuras, he can go Shivas, he can go Vlads, the item that you were big upping in the last game. That's a pretty good item for Doom to get here for Chaos Knight's sake, if not his own.
I'm hoping for a Vroomringer, personally. Drums Phase, Ags, Refresher.
Is Refresher really that big a deal here? I mean, it's mostly the Queen of Pain that you want to hit.
That's the joke, really.
Okay, alright.
Instead of Refresher, you can get something more useful for a Vroomringer, like a Yules or a Yasha.
Right, okay.
Actually be...
I don't know, in some games, Refresher, I think, is the correct choice. I just don't know that it would be here.
Well, I guess you could use it to hold down the Alchemist and basically ruin any secondary items Dreamy Use picks up.
Right.
Like the Basher would become useless, Crit would become useless, Mjolnir would become useless.
Sure. I don't think
well
it's a
as
bad
shutting
cast
down-
in Alchemist at all. That's a good point. And I mean, if
As
you
well
can get
as-
him out of Chemical Rage
Yeah.
before he casts it, and he can't get chemicaled, that's completely a useless Alchemist. Nice Ice Path here. They're just trying to forestall this, since of course Ogura did actually land the tower kill substantially before wHut did. They've rotated this Jakiro over though, and really to no avail as far as saving this tower goes. They don't save it, and wHut managed to equalize the tower situation. That said, Alchemist farming, and so is Queen of Pain, frankly. 41 for 18 now. The Slark really posing no danger in this lane to Queen of Pain.
Yeah, there's a problem just that there isn't getting enough levels on the Wisp or the Chaos Knight to really make this a threat. But
oh, there's the Reality Rift. They are under the tower, though, but they're taking lots of tower damage. The Ice Path barely misses somehow, but Queen of Pain, she's looking to clean up in response. Visage, the only one left in this tri-land, and he does make it out. He makes it to Fountain, but wHut get first blood, but at the cost of overextending, at the cost of Zex Bingo coming in, scoring a kill and an assist.
Yeah, I feel like YZB should have just kind of jumped on Shauna there. Zex is all out of mana and literally would have just been able to blink and maybe Scream of Pain. But that would definitely not have been enough to take out YZB, especially if he pops off that Shadow Dance.
Sure. And it's just been a quiet Slark performance. He doesn't seem to want to really go all out on it just yet, and I'm not sure what he's waiting for, frankly. Well, ZZZ is here. He already has phase. Oh, doesn't get it. Nicely timed blink out by Zex Bingo. The doom could have come just a moment earlier, or the blink a moment later, and that would be a dead to rights Queen of Pain. But instead, ZZZ forced to just walk away.
It looks like YZB is looking to be. I hope he starts roaming into this jungle. It should be very easy to get a pick off on YSY. That's not a hard kill to get, but he does get pinged up by his teammates just saying, we don't know where Slark is.
Radiant's bottom tower is under.
And now he's basically hanging out near the tower, just waiting until they either have visual confirmation that Slark is not. I mean, right now they see that he's not in there, but he does have this Invis rune bottled. Anybody can see this if they can see him here, which they can, so definitely going to be a careful jungling process for YSY from here. So far he's done fine for himself. He's level 5. Right around where Visage is. They've gotten good levels on Visage, frankly. They have to be happy with the fact that 365 will hit that rank 4 soul assumption fairly quickly. But is he in trouble here? The telekinesis comes out. There's the ice path. Charging up that unstable concoction. That will follow. Probably gets the last hit here. Yes. Blood for wHut, and she's farming quite well herself now. 59 last hits, up at about 536 gold per minute as a result of this fast Greevil's Greed build-up, and quite close to a Shadow Blade if not having it delivered. Oh no, not Shadow Blade at all, it's the Battle Fury.
Is it? Oh man.
YZB, does he not want this kill?
Radiant's middle
I think he can get YSY and escape no problem. Just pounce, man. There we go. There's the pounce. Finally picking off the Darkseer. And at least something for the Slark, who really has to snowball. I mean, really has to get kills on a consistent basis. There's another pounce. He's using his Shadow Dance, doing a lot of damage to Will. One more hit will do it. Does Slark make it out of here alive becomes the question. Maybe not, because Zex Bingo has Sonic Wave. He uses it to get the last hit. And that's a little bit of an advantage for Ogura, but they do lose 2 to the Slark finally. Meanwhile, on the bottom, Shauna, 4-second stun, easy kill for Chaos Knight and Io. Io now hitting that critical level 6.
Yeah, as well as 1, 2, 3 hitting that level 8, so that's gonna be huge. I don't like Battle Fury on Alchemist. I really don't. Oh, here he comes.
Oh, there's the relocate. wHut already charged the stun preemptively, but the Spirit's doing quite a bit of damage. There's the Reality Rift, but still alive. Nice telekinesis from Rubik. Here comes ZZZ, going to try to mop this up. Actually uses the ultimate on YSY. There's damage still being thrown out from 1, 2, 3. Will this Doom tick down to kill the Darkseer? Probably will, especially with another melee. And meanwhile, the rest of them just seek to flee as wHut charging up a big concoction. But there's the pounce. YZB responding. Still damage. There's the Reality Rift. Is it enough? Yes, I think it is. They get one. Meanwhile, Zex Bingo cleans up Doom, but another pounce from YZB. All of a sudden, this Slark is extremely active. Zex Bingo, he wants to mop it up again. He's got the DD rune. Yes, one more hit, and it's Queen of Pain snowballing and Slark snowballing. And that is a scary proposition for both teams. I honestly don't know who has the advantage right now. But one big good news, Chaos Knight only with the 1 death. I think that earns him drums in that fight. The bad news, the flip side of that news, is Queen of Pain. 4-0-0, most, at least half of an Orchid Malevolence, and level 11, 2 levels above where anybody else is on this map. Zex Bingo is getting scarier and scarier, especially with the addition of the level 2 ultimate. We did lose El Presidente. It looks like he actually got disconnected from the internet entirely, folks. He's off Skype. wHut in a bit of trouble here. Here's the 3-second stun from Chaos Knight. Visage here to pop out the Soul Assumption. There's the Unstable Concoction response. Nice Ice Path. Can wHut actually make it out of here? Chaos Knight's still trying to chase, but the telekinesis puts him right back onto that macro pyre. That's doing tremendous damage. Just 1, 2, 3 standing on that a little bit too long. And wHut walks away. Now that they have the Battle Fury, they need to preserve the Alchemist. They need to preserve farming time. In fact, they need as much farming time as they can possibly muster. Otherwise, what was the point of Battle Fury before Tier 2 boots? And so wHut, she is going to be farming up a storm in this jungle. And the task for what is to use Relocate, is to use Slark to attempt to counteract that, to attempt to kill the Alchemist every time that she actually attempts to get some farm out in that jungle. Gonna quickly check on my friend here, my co-caster. I don't know, I think he's back actually. Sorry folks, well no, still not back, so we'll keep on trying to get that connection reestablished, but for now, YZB, he wants to get more. I think he wants to get more in here. He builds up a bracer, so just a little bit of easy to afford tankiness. I don't think he builds drums. They already have a drums. Not that a second drums is necessarily bad. Meanwhile, this Visage Familiars, this is a serious error. Just completely feeding 2 Visage Familiars. I wonder if he forgot about them or he queued them for the wrong direction, but that's completely unnecessary giveaway of 200 gold by the Visage. Well, that can happen sometimes, folks. People lose control of their pets, or they send them off to the wrong direction and then forget about them. It can happen. I mean, it can happen to couriers. In fact, the courier for Radiant has been dead since that last big team fight as well. And one thing that I think OguraYui are doing that's very, very smart is just making sure that they protect these junglers. Protect wHut and protect wHut. You know that Slark can come in. You know that Chaos Knight IO can come in at any given moment, so just try to fend that off by clustering up with the supports. Protect this Alchemist. Wait until she can get more and more net worth established. And 365 and YZB hunting, but this is well spotted by this ward. Another set of familiars. I hope that these are okay, that these will actually survive for a longer period of time. We're going to try to reestablish another connection with my co-caster here. Nope, still not quite getting it. Well, it's alright, we'll give it a shot again. Hey, are you there? I'm going to take that as a no. That or your mic is muted.
Yes, my mic was muted on my end. I'm not even sure how I did that.
That's okay. Sometimes Skype will reset if it crashes. It resets settings.
All right,
DD once again for Zex Bingo. Oh, will they get him? Wow, that was a nice blink. In the instant that Reality Rift starts to go up on him, starts to pull him back, Zex Bingo gets back in 1, 2, 3. No tether to actually chase down and use the Reality Rift again. So Queen of Pain making it out safe and sound. And I think Zex Bingo right now is an extremely important part of Ogura's game plan. He is doing so well and creating so much space for wHut to get her farm. And that has to keep happening. If they start losing the Queen of Pain, then that major bulwark protecting Alchemist is suddenly gone.
Yeah, it's like if she dies, it's going to be a big deal. Mostly because this is where most of Ogura's current damage output comes from. Just the fact that Queen of Pain does have that max at Screaming Pain as well as a level 11 Sonic Wave. And the Orchid is almost done as well. I feel like Ogura could have gone for something a little bit bigger on Sex. They could have just kind of rushed up that Scythe device. But again, the Orchid does provide more damage output than a Scythe would.
I think the Orchid will be a pretty good spell. There was an attempted relocate gank from wHut that almost turned into a catastrophe, but luckily they did manage to escape just long enough for the back half of the relocate to activate and take them back to bot lane, as they didn't get any kills, but they didn't die either. Not great. Obviously, you want all of your relocates to be fruitful, but not the worst thing that could happen either. Nonetheless, Ogura, they seek to respond by using a smoke onto wHut, Rubik, and Jakiro. Can they actually make something happen, though? Their vision isn't great. In fact, they have no vision of the Radiant side of the map. Radiant still have 5 towers up. I'm not sure what the smoke gank will come to. Maybe they can loop around here a bit and punish this tier 1 tower attempt. YZB and 365 just pressuring the tower right now, but not killing it.
Yeah, I feel like they got to do the slow siege, and they kind of got to be careful, because, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, he's in a lot of trouble. The Orchid already locking him down. 2 seconds stun. There it is. The Chaos Knight on the ground, and Zex Bingo continuing to chase Sonic Wave, and he gets it. He gets the kill on the IO. I thought the IO was safe and sound, TPing to home, but that's 2 kills that wHut can ill afford to lose. They need this Chaos Knight and IO to be dominating, not being dominated. And unfortunately, this Queen of Pain, really a nettle in their side. I mean, she had a great early game. I mean, no defense from the Slark against that early laning presence. And so, Queen of Pain has gotten bigger and bigger. 365 now locked down by Ice Path. Dual Breath coming out as well. No Pursuit really coming out, but the Familiars. He's got to be more careful with these Familiars. He loses one again. YZB pouncing to the high ground. There's the Dark Pact. Here's the relocate, actually. And Zex Bingo is completely shut down. The Doom coming through as well. Nice Ice Path, but Shauna will fall. 4 seconds stun from the Chaos Knight. Kind of wasted as the Jakiro was already falling. Here come the reinforcements. wHut actually canceling the TP in the last minute. A stun up on Will, but actually the relocate comes back out, and ZZZ very, very low, just using Scorched Earth to try to catch this Rubik. He uses the Satyr, the ball, to get the last hit on Rubik, and Zex Bingo after buyback. That's a second death for the Queen of Pain. That is bad news. A big team fight win for wHut here. wHut still trying to chase out CC. Will this Unstable Concoction get the kill? He's at 35 HP. One hit will do it. Yes. Alchemist secures that kill. Has the TP available. Can he TP out successfully? YZB will seek to spot him out. Can he stop this? Can he stop this? No. Alchemist is out. Safe for wHut to continue farming with her Battle Fury. That's good, because if they had lost the Alchemist, I would upgrade that from bad fight to disaster.
Yeah, that was a 5-for-1, 5-for-2 trade. I actually have no idea how many people died for what, but that was 5 deaths for Ogura in a very, very short period of time. And you definitely don't want to be giving that up. I actually find it really weird that Dreamy went for the Shadow Blade, considering that they are relying on a very hard carry Alchemist. And I would imagine that something instead, you know, like a Mjolnir would have been a bigger pickup than a Shadow Blade.
Oh,
just
sure.
Because, one, it doubles up on your whole farming business, which is, you know, Alchemist business.
They want to fight. The Phantasms used. They stun Zex Bingo for 3 seconds already. Actually, this Queen of Pain has taken a lot of damage, but the Macro Power response. Nice steal of, once again, of the Chaos Bolt, and 1, 2, 3. I think the Macro Power will just take him down. YZP coming in on the Slark, but I'm not sure what he can get done here. Actually, Wisp just sacrificing himself to make sure that the Slark lives, but YZP has to truck on out of here. Don't let Wisp sacrifice itself in vain. They don't get Zex Bingo. They lose 2. All they get is a tower out of it. Probably not the trade they wanted after such a good team fight.
Yeah, YZB missed the pounce, and that probably made the difference there. He probably could have gotten Sex Bingo had he landed the pounce.
Sure.
So, a little bit of misplay. Generally speaking, you want to be using pounce as close as possible, just so it reduces the odds of you missing. But at least they got the tower, so it's not the end of the world for them.
Yeah, a tower is an okay thing to make it out of here, but this is my concern with Chaos Knight. When this happens, when Chaos Knight is getting maybe 1-for-1 on kills deaths, like 2, 3, and 3 now, your Chaos Knight's farm lags tremendously, and you're already up against a hero in the form of the Alchemist who can outfarm just about anybody on the planet. And now your Chaos Knight, he's far away from his BKB. It's going to take ages to farm that up without additional kills coming in, and he's starting to lag on levels relative to the heroes that he really wants to get. Like, sure, this Chaos Knight has a 3-level lead on Jakiro. Sure, he has a 3-level lead on Rubik. But it's okay to kill those guys. The people you really want to kill are Queen of Pain, are Alchemist, and they're starting to outstrip you in levels and farm, and that's only going to get worse. I feel like wHut is under more pressure than the 12-12 scoreline would indicate.
Yeah, that's absolutely true, and the problem then comes down to the fact that even with this BKB, it's going to stop a lot of damage, and that's really the important part. 1, 2, 3 is getting, with his health pool, focus and killed very, very quickly. But honestly, I feel like he should have gotten an armlet instead of the drums, especially because Slark actually has a drums himself. So it's a little bit redundant and a little bit overlap.
CK did get his first, but yeah, definitely they probably only needed 1 set, and it was a little bit of a miscommunication possibility. Not that drums are bad. I mean, they're fantastically stats efficient even after the nerf, and yeah, they're already in here. Of course, Acid Spray, we saw it doing a lot of work to clear out quick rushes in the last game, and likewise this game, except DreamyU is far more farmed at 20 minutes than 290 was in the last game, and that'll be a quick rush on. No real response from wHut, not even an attempt at a response. Aegis picked up by Queen of Pain. I like this move. She is getting a lot of damage incoming in these fights, and building towards a BKB herself, I definitely like this for Queen of Pain.
Yeah, and it's also going to be a Assault Cuirass being picked up by Alchemist most likely, but it could be a Mjolnir. I find that significantly less likely given the fact that he already does have that 1 farming item, and I really doubt he wants to really... Like, you don't get that much more attack speed out of a Mjolnir than you would in a Assault Cuirass.
I would admire the sheer bloody-mindedness of DreamyU picking up a Mjolnir here. That would be her saying, you know what, I've farmed, but I have not farmed enough. There is no amount of farming that will satisfy me. And I would be amused, but I do think it's going to be a Cuirass.
Taking a lesson straight from Black/Burning's playbook.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, I mean, when we first saw these Alchemists start to get picked up by Chinese carries, it was more or less Battle Fury, more often than not.
Yeah, it's just I don't know, I find it to be an interesting item, especially for Alchemists. Generally speaking, you do want more attack speed items, just because with a reduced BAT, attack speed, I think, kind of edges out attack damage just a little bit. Because... already at a regular 1.7 BAT. I think someone did the math, and it's like 1 point of attack damage is about the same value as 1 point of attack speed. Right, but when you have a reduced BAT, every point of attack speed does more to your actual attack speed. IAS does more to your actual attack speed. So it's like, I think attack speed has an increased relative value as a result.
Sure.
Especially when you get a basher. Like, there you go. There's your damage problem solved. You can just rely on bash damage instead.
And bash procs are a big deal too. I mean, you can essentially get to lockdown with Alchemist faster than with many heroes because of that short base attack time, combined with things that you can get from, say, a Cuirass or even just a naked Hyperstone.
Yeah, we already see that he already attacks pretty quickly. It's like with the Assault Cuirass, I think, yeah, he attacks already at every half second with his ult up.
Oh, they have 3 drums, actually. They love drums over at wHut headquarters. 3 drums on their team, as well as 2 people building BKBs on their team, 1 person building BKB on Ogura.
3 drums.
3
we
drums.
also see a Shadow Blade being started on ZZZ. Oh, they finished on ZZZ.
Yep. Well, you called it, the Vroom Doom. I mean, that is the fastest way to get a Doombringer. He uses that Shadow Blade to get in quick with and then phase boots once he's out of the Shadow Blade form. It's an item that we've been seeing a lot on this hero. It does give him one potential surprise in terms of initiation, and we have not seen the Sentry spam and the Gem spam come out from Ogura this game. In fact, right now they have no observers or sentries on the map, although I have to think Jakiro, yeah. Alright, he's starting to place some, but up until that point, not really much of anything for Vision. And Chaos Knight finally finishes BKB. Do you think that makes a difference?
Yeah, it's going to make it much. Can't even... Wow, I can't even... I don't think I'm making any noise in game. What?
Try to toggle your off and
on. There we
on.
go. Okay, yeah, that worked. Toggling works. It was working earlier. I don't know why it suddenly stopped. Oh, I really hope that... Oh, well, much stronger against Sex Bingo's damage output, as in all of it.
DreamyYu, meanwhile, in the Shadow Blade form, wants to get that unstable, doesn't get it, stuns herself. Here comes 1, 2, 3. He uses the BKB, 4-second stun on YSY already. There's the Reality Rift. He's bashing down. There's the Macro Power, but this time it does nothing to the Chaos Knight. Sonic Wave doesn't either, but DreamyYu, she beats down that CK the old-fashioned way, just beats to the face. YZB forced to disengage. There is the Doom on Alchemist, but is it a little bit late? They already have 2 on the ground. They're chased off extremely low on the part of Ogura, but they all walk out of here, and meanwhile, Zex Bingo being chased by YZB, he's got the haste rune. Will the pounce land? Not quite yet. He's still got the ticking moments of his Shadow Dance going to try to pincer, but no. I think Zex Bingo walks out of this no problem, and they lose nothing while punishing wHut once again, and I feel... Sorry, go ahead. Oh, actually, the pounce, the Dark Pack, they get the Aegis stripped off after all.
Yeah, he just walked back into that. That was totally unnecessary and did not need to lose the Aegis there.
That's true.
From Sex Bingo, that was weird. I don't know. I don't think Slark is landing nearly enough with these pounces. He's making his damage output is suffering because of it.
It is. But also, it's becoming an issue where Ogura are just getting a little too beefy to be dealt with easily by the combo that wHut are putting out. I mean, Doom, all he has is really this Shadow Blade phase drums. He doesn't have much in the way of aura items, unlike DreamyYu. Got some farm in the jungle, but not really enough to even keep up with the Chaos Knight, much less the Queen of Pain, and let's not even talk about the Alchemist. And now, nice little stun there. YZB already, oh wow, the Orchid takes him down extremely quickly. 1, 2, 3 with a BKB again, but you can just see, BKB's all well and good, but you can just get auto attack, tries to return to Zex Bingo, but then he realizes, no, I need to keep running if at all possible, and Stable Concoction finishes, actually with the help of Queen of Pain with just 1 more auto attack, and they found Doom. There is the Sentry, Doom caught out, and this is slipping out of wHut's fingers. Are we likely to be going to a Game 3, Elprez?
I'm inclined to say yes, but wHut also kind of did ridiculous comeback plays towards the end of last game, so
they did.
I wouldn't count them out quite yet. The problem is, this is looking to be possibly a Rax right now, and I say that because Ogura are in very good health. They have almost max health on everybody. Mana isn't that low that it becomes a huge problem. And frankly, wHut are still very much out of this game as far as their heroes are. They're just not ready to come back to life yet, especially the CK, especially the Doom. And yeah, this is an easy Rax.
There's wall placed for YSY, just making wHut not even feel comfortable defending their own melee. And all they take is the melee. They don't need the range, they don't want the range. Ogura just peel out with a huge advantage secured through that last fight into the tier 2. Start at the tier 1, in fact. So 3 towers and a Rax and a team fight victory. They have got to be feeling very, very happy with what they pulled out just now.
Yeah, and I think it came down to just some big item pickups. We do see the AC is done on Alchemist, and that contributed greatly to Slark's quick death.
And
because it does bring Slark to negative armor values, -6 armor, because he was standing the acid spray.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what do wHut need to do?
What? Jesus.
I know, I'm sorry about that.
I know, it's... I don't blame you for saying it, but what do they need to do? They need to get something to keep Slark from instantly melting. BKBs are definitely a good way to start. But then the second problem is they needed some way to lock down Alchemist, and they just don't have it. Doom doesn't do anything to Alchemist if Alchemist is in his ult form. Mostly because he'll just... Oh, wait, is he going down?
Can they take this fight? Slark's still trying to do things. There actually is a much earlier Doom this time on wHut, but up in that BKB form, Zex Bingo doing some damage as well. 1, 2, 3 attempting to stand his ground, but he simply cannot. And wHut, I think, quite intelligently called the GG as they simply got out-muscled by a Queen of Pain covering for an Alchemist that eventually got too big to stop. And this, I feel like the lesson of this game for me, Elprez, is you can't just ignore a lost mid lane. Slark was losing mid right from the...
Rampage.
Oh, he gets the Rampage. Nice job with the DD rune, helping Queen of Pain to secure every last kill in that fight. And, I mean, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Zex Bingo ends this fight, ends this game 14-2-5. He was dominating the early last hits and farm in the middle lane. And then he was so far ahead on levels, like hitting his ultimate very quickly and then his level 2 ultimate, that every single situation that wHut got into, if they had assumed that Queen of Pain was roughly around Slark's farm, they could have won every one of those fights. But again and again, they found themselves tripped, basically. There was this big tripwire of the Queen of Pain that could join into a fight and completely flip it on its head. And time again, Zex Bingo would walk away from fights with a kill or 2 kills or 3 kills. Ends up at level 19 with the highest level of wHut being 14. So, Elprez, what do they need to do to get back on the right foot for Game 3?
Well, I feel like wHut need to really take a more traditional approach to this game. They tried the Slark, they tried the Doom, and frankly, the picks did not pan out. As well, I feel like the execution on the IO-CK combo just didn't work out either. And that might have less to do with the actual picks and more to do with the amount of time they had with the picks. I don't think they've practiced that combo really quite well enough. So I feel like they need to go more traditional in their next game. Like the last game that they played, wHut played a very traditional game, even with a solo mid Alchemist, which is less than traditional, but generally they had a more traditional lineup. You know, a farming carry, and they had that bring them to victory. So I think they need to go back to that style.
I definitely agree with you. I don't think that the IOCK execution was necessarily that bad. It's more that they picked these heroes that theoretically should be snowballing right alongside the CK and IO, and Slark, he got a few kills in the early mid-game and then just stopped, and the Doom pick did almost nothing. Like, sure, Doom was on heroes occasionally, but it didn't really seem to make that much difference. So, I agree, maybe we'll see a reversion to a more standard lineup for Game 3, but that will be the decisive game, folks. wHut and OguraYui heading to Game 3 of this series in the RedBull ECL 2013. Your casters, Vikramond and El Presidente, and we will be taking you back into the game in just a few short moments.